food is not just the energy. The food is also giving you the emotional support. I was just traveling across various corners of Southeast Asia. That's where I started struggling a bit because I'm a vegetarian. I was missing the food which I was craving for. I mean, being a Gujarati, we have spoiled for food.
This is episode 14 of Dream 100 Show with Mr. Nikhil Gandhi. Welcome to Dream 100 Show listeners. I am your host, Savita Hosamani. Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams who share their exciting business stories of growth with their evolving products or services and built brand loyalty. Join us as we bring you everything that goes on in the minds of successful business owners during their brand building process and gain insights to creating successful strategies. In today's episode, we talk to Nikhil Gandhi, who is the founder of Banamin Healthcare. He is the perfect example of necessity is the mother of invention. His need for natural, healthy food led him to innovating wholesome, tasty, and nutritious food products without grains. Unbelievable, isn't it? So let's get set to hear it out from him right here, right now. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, Nikhil.
Thank you, Savita.
I'm very excited to know what happens behind the scenes because we've only seen the packets. Now I want to know how it goes inside the packets.
Wow. I mean, that is actually the whole story inside. I mean, starts right from even the farmer's side, not even actually the packing side. Being a manufacturer, I mean, we have to have a lot of different hats, and definitely it becomes very difficult sometimes to just put it ourselves in one single box. That what do we exactly do?
You were also in a corporate job. It's not that you come from a family or background of farming culture or something like that, or were you
Absolutely.
associated?
No, not at all. I mean, this whole journey has been pretty interesting. I was working for corporate, definitely for almost 14 years. I worked at different global level, at international various activities. Started career with Indian Oil, and then I was looking after the various Asia Pacific regional activities for Shell. That's where whole concept of this Banamin came up in mind. You know, the corporate world is very different world. It actually takes a lot of things out of you, and most important thing out of you is your time. So you basically swap the time for money. When you are swiping the time for money, actually the time mostly goes either in traveling, either in actually meetings, or having multiple activities which at corporate world goes on. So for me, it was more of the traveling. I was just traveling across various corners of Southeast Asia. That's where I started struggling a bit because I'm a vegetarian. Getting food has been a really very difficult thing there. The other part for me is being a Gujarati, we love food. So that was, the total opposite things was happening. At one end, you have to sustain your career. And at the same time, you know that you're missing the best thing in your life, which is your food. I was missing both the nutritional fact because most of the time when I was eating mostly this carbohydrate-rich products, either rice or potatoes, because that was the only option I have it. And second thing is that I was missing the food which I was craving for. I mean, being a Gujarati, we have spoiled for food. So I was missing everything actually. For 99.99% food I was missing. And that's where this whole thing started coming in mind that it's not just me. There are many people like me who travel, who have some dietary restrictions, not just because of the religious, but because of certain medical conditions like diabetic people, people suffering with food allergies, people who are actually into the diet, people who are sports athletes and all. So there are many people and who have to travel because of many reasons. And they struggle a lot, just like what I was struggling. And that's where I said, okay, this is a really interesting thing. I should be pursuing it further and have to look after what can be done to actually elevate my problem at the same time other people's problem. So that is that whole Banamin came up.
You said that you were traveling and you didn't have the right kind of food, but nowadays we do have options of packed food, right? So
Absolutely.
you could have carried all those packed foods and you could have still made your life better, right?
No, actually, in fact, that made life a bit difficult because initially that was first choice for me. I tried all kind of packed foods. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it, maybe because of too much of preservatives. The typical taste it comes out, and somehow, I love the natural things. I love whatever is coming into the natural form is what the taste palette I have cultivated for so many years. So the moment I shifted from that palette to the palette which has actually been forced because of the longer shelf life using all kind of preservatives, acidity regulators, emulsifiers, whatnot you say, that started giving a bit of hesitance in trying those products. The food is not just the energy; the food is also giving you the emotional support, and that's what I was lacking. So initially, I tried all those things, but somehow it didn't work out. Fortunately or luckily, whatever way you say, I love cooking.
Okay.
So that's where again the thing was like that when you love cooking and when you know that you can make things much better than what this is, again that hesitation start building inside yourself that no, I don't want to try all those packed food. Why don't I try something novel?
So did you find anything novel which was available in the market?
That time it was not. I'm talking about almost 12, 13 years before today's world, where things were a bit scarce. Anything and everything with vegetables used to be considered as vegetarian.
Okay.
So it was more like I have to cherry pick sometimes. Okay, what should I eat and what should I not eat? And 99.9% incidents it was like I should not be eating those things. Even simple joys like eating chocolates and cake was a very difficult thing because people outside India they normally use eggs. Almost entire population they make the baking products using the eggs, even chocolates using the eggs. It was like more of a stressful situation that you're missing your food, you're missing the desserts, you're missing everything in life.
Mhm. So did that impact your work in any way?
Fortunately, no impact on work, but definitely there was impact on my body.
The entire impact your body was taking.
Yes, poor body actually. And fortunately, one thing is that I'm coming from a family where we have doctors and a family. I mean, the family background is all into the medicines and pharmacists. Whatever the issues were happening with respect to the nutrition or with respect to other things, I could able to manage it using the supplements or some other stuff. But that was not a sustainable solution. Second, as I said, I love cooking. So what I started doing was I started making some recipes. Started developing using few, see at the most 3 or 4 ingredients, which will be commonly available across various locations. So that was a turning point for me. That yes, I know that these ingredients are available. If they make it in this fashion, it will be giving me the food I should love to eat, and second thing, it will be giving me the right nutrition, the balanced nutrition rather. So that was basically the trigger point, saying that yes, I'm missing a lot of things, but at least I can came back some 10% or 20% of whatever I was missing.
Okay, awesome. So would you share your recipes to your friends also, whatever you devised out of your own
Yes,
methods?
yes, yes. That started actually because initially they used to make 1 or 2 portion for me whenever there was a meeting, because whenever I was going, it was like 3 days, 4 days kind of meetings, right? So giving it to the shapes, asking them to make in this similar pattern was like making 1 portion or 2 portion initially, and slowly, slowly people started loving the taste whenever they tried it. And the portion size started increasing. A lot of people started asking it, "Hey, what is this? I mean, this looks very nice." And that was fantastic. I mean, this was a good revelation for itself that yes, people can try new product if it has been made in nice fashion.
So what does Banamin mean? It is a very different, like vitamin. Is it something like that? Banana and vitamin, Banamin?
I think you are eating somewhere nearby for that. It's uh, it's actually the banana plus minerals. You got to the first part very correct. In Southeast Asia and India, one thing is very common, that we are the largest producers of bananas. Like India is world's largest producer of banana. Same is the case Philippines, then Indonesia, and a bit of Malaysia. But more of the Indonesian, Malaysia, they go more toward the palm side rather than actually the banana side. However, people are aware and people are knowing that banana is actually helpful to them. And considering the fact that it is so widely available, it is such a nutrition dense food product. First thing came in my mind was, why don't I use it rather than using the grains?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So whatever I have developed only using fruits, vegetables, and legumes. I don't use any grains.
Oh, and still it's balanced.
Yes, it is balanced because what you need as a balanced nutrition. Imagine our Indian thalis across multiple regions. Say, for example, for us a Gujarati thali, for you it may be the Bangalorean thali, for someone it is Maharashtrian thali or Rajasthani thali. If we see the composition of the thali, it is extremely balanced nature. Like it has right amount of carbohydrates, the complex carbohydrates. It has basically the proteins in terms of lentils and dals. It is getting the minerals and vitamins in terms of your vegetables, in terms of the legumes. Simultaneously it gives you the minerals, the micronutrients in terms of pickles, in terms of raita. So those all things are balanced over there, right? And this balance is coming from a right amount of carbohydrate, right amount of protein, right amount of fat, and right amount of micro and macronutrients. Unfortunately, what we are doing today is, because of our fast lifestyle, either we are eating chapati sabji, or we are eating only pulavs, or we are eating one small portion of the entire thali, because that is what we can afford to spend time for. So that is the change. That change is just a subset of a thali, which is giving you some amount of nutrition. What's about the rest of the nutrition? Correct? The rest of the nutrition was coming from vegetables. It was coming from slices of the fruits. It was coming from the pickles, right? So I have worked out backwards on that part that yes, we anyway are consuming carbohydrates. We anyway are consuming a bit of fat. So whatever left out part is basically the protein, complex carbohydrates, fibers, minerals, micro and macronutrients, vitamins, etc. Where we get those from? Fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, everything, right? So I've developed the things based on that.
Okay. How do you introduce? Is it like a person who is normally going to a 9 to 5 job? Can they also use this food, or is it only for people who are traveling or with special needs?
I think this is a fantastic question. The reason behind Banamin is we want people to eat food, right? I struggled, so I want people to eat food, and this is true for everyone. So if person is working in 9 to 5, if person is traveling, if person is actually athlete, so if person is diabetic, person is having food allergies, they all are missing their eating times. They are missing their eating zone, rather. I will say not just a time, but zone. Eating is, as for the Indian thing, eating is not just putting it into your stomach and letting it get digested. Okay, we call it as a yagya. So it is basically yagna means basically it is the puja. It is a prayer for us, right? So it is more of like food. We call it is a Purna Brahma, right? And whatever is happening inside the stomach, it is basically the prayer that happens. This is the ahuti we are giving it to it. So that is whole definition of the food, where you have to actually eat it balanced, you have to eat it nice, but at the same time you have to spend the good amount of time for it, which unfortunately we are missing today. It is for everyone who actually thinks is not having a time for eating the food, who's sitting on a desk and eating the sandwiches or taking the Frankies just because he thinks that he's not having time to spend half an hour, right? For those everyone who believes they don't have time, they don't have enough, the flexibility in the schedule to take out time for eating, for all this food is okay.
Okay, so you mean to say that these are all packed foods which are available?
Yes, premixes, I will say, not the ready to eat. So what we have done is we have worked it out more in terms of the premixes. such that, I mean, person can take only 10 to 15 minutes to cook them. You don't have to spend the entire half an hour to 1 hour to do all preparations and this. You just have to cut it, put in the right amount of water and the condiments and spices, and just put on the pan or in your microwave, whatever way you like to do it, and you get it done.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. But again, my question is, if at all these are pre-mixes, and if they are, they do also have a shelf life, right?
Correct.
So then in that case, because earlier packed foods, the reservation that you had was they would be using some kinds of preservatives, some kinds
Absolutely.
of chemicals and all that. So how different is Banamin packed foods from other packed foods?
Okay, I think you're coming to the right point, I guess. So great. So, as I said earlier, the preservatives has been a big put off for me, and not just for me, but for many people. And off late, I mean, with the COVID and pandemic, a lot of people started understanding the fact that what healthy eating means. So, what we do is we have developed our own processing technology such that we have a shelf life of more than 15 months without using any preservatives. We don't use any preservatives, any chemicals, any emulsifiers, or any acidity regulators, or whatever, even the natural preservatives they call it. We don't use anything. It is just the way we process the things. It's help it to get a shelf life, because the most important part why things go bad is amount of water inside it. So if we could remove the water without changing the bonds, without changing the properties of the food, it gives you two things: A, the highest amount of nutrition, and B, the highest shelf life. That is what we have done.
So that means that the entire process is different. So you have
Yes.
developed your own USP
Exactly.
for this, and there is no other system which is using this kind of methodology.
No way. We spent 3 years to develop all these things.
Aren't you scared that there might be people who might be willing to take your secret formulas?
Okay. One thing for me is, we work right from the farmer side till the processing. So our entire process has multiple parts inside it. So even if today I tell anyone that this is the way my process works, the person won't be able to actually replicate the same thing. At the best, what they can do, they can utilize the compositions, like the ingredients which we use it, but they won't get the nutrition, and B, they won't get the shelf life without using any chemicals. Person can replicate the product, he won't be able to replicate the texture, it won't be able to replicate the nutrition without adding all the externally added the vitamins and minerals, and without using any preservatives or any regulators, acidity regulators or emulsifiers, they won't be able to have the shelf life of 12 months. So that is where we are happy.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that means that you have come out with a magic formula.
Yes, 3 years.
So 3 years, like when you were putting yourself into this kind of rigorous work, did you have
Absolutely.
that idea that you might actually come out? See, because there was no tried and tested formula. You were just trying it out. So you
Correct.
quit your job and you were entirely focused on bringing out this concept.
Okay, so how it started was, just like I said, I started developing the recipes, right? So it was way back in 2012 when I was getting those recipes, and slowly, I've made some kitchen scale premixes out of those things. So things were working out. I knew that it comes out well, but the only scare I was having was whether it will be able to replicate at the commercial level. Because making 100 grams or 500 grams is not a big thing. It is always feasible to make it at any level. Whether it comes at the commercial level, and second thing is that whether it comes sustainably at commercial level, was the question for me. And the answer was not easy, definitely. So I was initially a bit hesitant that whether I should jump it or not, because what happens when you go to the natural food and natural product, the products are not the shelf made, oh sorry, not shelf made, I mean the tailor made products like chemicals. Okay, so they are natural ones. According to the soil and according to the season, the nutrition changes. So if I'm taking, imagine the banana in winter season, from the same farmer versus the banana in summer season from the same farmer, there will be a difference in nutrition fact, right? So that was a major concern for me, and that was scaring me whether I should jump it, I should start it or not. Everything was like that. So it took me almost around 2.5 years, 3 years to think about all the risk and everything. And then one fine day, I said, I mean, if I'm just going doing this all analysis, probably at one day nothing will happen. Okay, the best thing is that let's jump, let's see whether it is feasible or not. I mean, I have decided to give myself for 2 to 3 years of time. Let's start it, because that is where we will be knowing it, because as nobody has done it, it was impossible to predict whether it will be work or not. And fortunately my family helped me a lot. They gave me support. Yes, do it. I mean, at the most what will happen, you will be failure. That's the only thing. You'll go back to your oil and gas and start the job again. Okay, so that was the only thing, right? We were not in a hurry to bring the products into the market. We really wanted to ensure that whatever we are giving to the customers or whatever we are bringing into the new things has to be 100% clean label. Whatever claims people do these days into the clean label, they're all, I mean, when we see it, because now we are in this field, we know what exactly the background. People claim anything and everything and just basically give it some kind of, I will say misbranded, not I will say false, but the misbranded claims for that. And we didn't want to do that thing.
Awesome. So in that case, how did the crowd receive, or your first set of customers, did they receive it well? We, like as you said, Indians are more prone to having fresh food as compared to something which is, even though it is pre-mixed, if all you see, even now our grandmas prefer something wheat, they want to grind it freshly and get it. And so I'm sure that when you came out with something of a new concept like this, there would have been a lot of rejection saying that we would prefer our fresh food rather than this pre-mixed food, or did they receive it very well? How was it?
Okay, it was kind of a mixed reaction. Many people were happy because what we did was we did it for diabetic, and we did it for the diet planning based thing, because people get bored. I mean, almost 70-75% people quit the healthy lifestyle because they are not able to eat the food they want to, right? They were happy. But we were having one of the major criticism. Reason is that we don't use any color improvers. Whatever comes out is the natural color of fruits, vegetables, and legumes, right? So if you make a chapati out of it, it will look a little bit grayish. If you make your dosas and parathas, it will look more like the bit of grayish or brownish kind of thing, not like the white things which people are habituated to see that thing. So earlier there were a lot of people asking us, why don't you make it white? Why don't you make it, what our natural foods are? I said, those are not natural foods. So that was quite a reaction for many segments. I mean, not just from Gujarat, but from most part of the India, we started seeing the things. And I'm talking about year 2015-16. So the healthy eating was still not a norm. I mean, only it was considered to be a fad.
Correct.
I mean, off late 2018-19 with a lot of new restaurants, new things coming up. Even I'm talking about the Bangalore, going to the Bangalore and seeing the healthy foods. I mean, there were very little options. The vegan food, there were very little options. So people were not mentally prepared for those kind of things. And somehow, I mean, over the period, we started seeing that foods like ragis are coming into the market, those millets are coming into the market, and then people started saying, no, I mean, idli, black idli, okay, it's acceptable now. When we barely know, oh, idli can't be black. This is not idli. I won't be eating it, right? Now, when we are seeing that over the period, the changes are happening, the acceptance of people toward the color is happening. Now people are seeing the nutrition thing. Even 90% people don't read any label at all. Despite that fact, the acceptance toward the color is happening, and we are happy now. We are seeing the initial criticism regarding the color is now got a bit fade up. But that was a real sharp criticism for us. We faced a lot of issues. Even the doctors, they were saying, make it white, do whatever, but make it white. Yeah, that was a challenge for us. Definitely a big challenge.
Apart from the resistance to color, did you encounter any other resistance in the process, in the mindset of people?
We found the biggest resistance. Initially, we come out with the concept that supplements, basically. What we did was we developed the supplements. My concept was very simple. We are eating supplements in form of tablets and doses, but that is not the correct way, because it is not giving you the bioavailability what the supplement has to be. So we don't get more than 20% to 30% out of it. Some of the cases you can get up to 40-45%, but not 100% bioavailability there. The bioavailability only happens when it comes from the natural way. So what I have decided, that rather than having supplements as a supplement, it has to be converted into the food products. So we have developed in a such a fashion that you can make the food out of it. And we started seeing one trend over there, that not many people love to cook at home.
Yes.
This was in 2017 when we started launching our, the first set of products for market feedback and all. We were surprised. I mean, rather, I was surprised, not the we, because other team members, they knew that this is going to happen. But I was surprised. Spending 10 years outside India, I know people love cooking. Outside, they love to make the food. They rather prefer to do whatever they can do with their own hands. And 10 years before, when I left India, even Indian households were more like that. We wanted to do everything at home, correct? So the moment we started launching those things with recipes, we started seeing a kind of negative feedback, rather, that hey, it's take long time, it takes 30 minutes, it take 1 hour, we don't have that much time, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? This was kind of the tipping point for us, or the game changer for us, that we started realizing that whatever happened in West in 80s and 90s is now happening in India. People are getting disposable income, but people are actually losing the time.
Correct.
So money has swiped the time again.
Absolutely.
So what they are interested now is, what can I do with the money? I have money, but I don't have time to do that thing. Not everybody can actually, wait for the maids and whatever, the cooking buys coming over there and doing the things. So mostly both husband wives are working. So they were just asking us, why don't you actually convert into the premixes? So it gives us a new direction. I mean, late 2017, we started then. I mean, till that time, we have developed almost around 100 recipes. So they said, you have recipes, you have product, why don't you make it premixes? Just give me, I need to cut it and put it. Okay, so big learning for us. Definitely, we took it much positively, and we changed our approach. We said, instead of creating the recipes, why don't we actually work more on the premixes? Because knowing the fact, premix is a very tricky thing. Not everybody has the same taste palette.
Correct.
So we needed to be making it so that everybody will accept it. So we decided one thing, we won't be using condiments and spices inside it. We will be actually making it spice neutral.
Okay, something like Maggie.
Yeah. So you just have everything ready. You put water and you put whatever spices you want to put it inside it. That's it.
Okay, awesome.
And that worked because we tried with all kind of permutation combination for 6 months, and then we realized we won't be able to satisfy everyone. So best way is go to the spice neutral.
Okay, so I have heard the saying, the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So you were the one who started innovating for your own stomach. There was no.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I starved. That is the reason thing came up. Had I got the food, probably Banamin would not have been existed.
So we should be thankful that that didn't happen. So this
yes,
happened.
absolutely.
What was the best compliment? Like now that people are more open to eating this kind of healthy food and tasty food.
Absolutely. Now people are getting more or less, okay, if it is black, I will go for that. Nowadays, you see the trend. People are asking for the brown breads. Do you know the reality of the brown bread? By the way, I'm just deviating out of the topic, but the reality of the brown bread is if you make bread out of wheat, it will never be as brown as what actually you see into the market. At most of the time, they add the color or caramels.
So it is the mind is eating rather than the body is eating.
Exactly. So 5 years before, whatever the conceptions people were thinking, oh, this is a bad food. Now those concepts are actually being considered as a healthy food, and now what people are doing, the manufacturers, they are using the colors to trick you, to fool you.
That's real sad.
Yeah, we have to be much careful. That is the reason normally what we say to people is go and read the nutrition label as much as possible.
So you have to educate the customers also now.
Yes, we do that thing. We try to actually ensure at least read what is given behind in terms of ingredients. If you see anything apart from the natural food product, then that is not natural.
This has been one of my experience when people go in for a complete change, or they go in for something organic or natural. Everything is highly priced. So
Yes.
How is Banamin priced? How can they sustain this kind of pricing? I'm not sure about your pricing. So I'm just asking you, how did you price it so that it is available for an average person as well?
The way we have done is it is a bit of concentrated things. So you add other stuffs inside it. So on an average, if you are making the uttapam at your home, or the idlis for that sake, or the paratha for the sake, normal 2 persons family or 4-person family, it will cost somewhere between 60 to 80 rupees.
Oh, affordable.
Yes. So we have tried working on that principle, because principle is very simple. We want people to eat the balanced nutrition as much as possible, and that is where we try to work it out in such a fashion that if you're making it at your home, it should be costing less than what you are actually going to order from outside.
That's really awesome. As a business, do you think you guys will be able to sustain? Because like you said, you have come out with 100 products, and if you have the right target audience for all this 100 products, and until these products are accepted in the market, how are you balancing that?
Okay, this is quite critical questions. Definitely, we have started with export market as our first choice. I just forgot to tell you two more things about us. All the Banamin products are vegan and gluten free.
Oh,
So before India, the hype of gluten free or vegan coming up, we were already into the market. The major audience which suffering because of this gluten free, gluten intolerance issues are the Westerners. Of late India, we are seeing a lot of such issues. But in Western side, even Singapore, Malaysia, we are seeing a lot of kids, a lot of people who are feeling the wheat allergies, the food allergies, the gluten allergies. And that is where we said, okay, why don't we actually focus first of all that audience, and that would B2B market. So we focus with that thing, and slowly, when we started seeing our Indianized products are coming into the existence, the Indianized palettes were working out by 2018-19. Then we said, okay, now we are also focusing to the Indian audience accordingly. So we found two different streams where we are currently working as a source of our income and the sustainability of the business. Definitely the export market is there, and B, in India, we are seeing lots and lots of cafes, hospitals, the schools. They are getting health conscious. They want their pupils, like hospitals, they wanted to have their patients, schools, their pupils, and cafes, their customers. They wanted to have them eating something healthy. They are not aware exactly how to do it, and we are helping them with the B2B business model over there. And that is where we are seeing ourselves coming a bit steady on the platform. It's only during this pandemic we have seen even the common people are getting interested into eating healthy. not just the
Wow.
nutritionists and dietitians, correct? So we have decided, okay, we'll introduce some of our products into the retail markets, and that's how we have 12 products into the retail market right now.
So how's the
And
response?
yeah, and response is coming good. So depending upon how it goes, we probably will introduce few more products.
Wow. So what's the vision of Banamin for the next 10 years?
Our first principle, the very first principle is that you have only one life, and you don't have to waste it eating unreal bland foods. Okay, you have to eat it nutrition, but at the same time tasty foods. So that is the only reason we have it, that make people aware that healthy food is also tasty. Only thing is that you have to change or tweak your cooking things. For example, like if I'm making idli, I can make it healthy. The idlis which we have developed, we don't use any rice.
Oh.
Okay, it is without rice. So I just swap rice with the high nutrition components. It is still the idli. It is still having the idli texture. It is still having the idli component, but it is more healthier now. And that is what we are planning to do for next 10 years. Whatever the food product you love it will be converted into the healthy things.
Oh, wow.
You tell me, we'll do it. If someone is actually replacing entire fat or oil from his or her eating habits, there could be some serious consequences. So you need something. That is the reason it is a balanced nutrition.
One question which just came up to my mind. You can just tell me like what are the differences? One is the bodybuilding foods and one is the weight management foods. So
Correct.
does Banamin cater to both the kinds of audiences? Because for bodybuilders, they need to have more of fat, or I don't know, like they have a different kind of diet because they have to build their body. But at the
Correct.
same time, weight management people, they are very conscious of the fact that what goes inside their body, because as it is, they're obese and they want to reduce it. So
Correct.
how does Banamin balance to both these kind of audiences?
Okay, we work with both the things. See, the basic difference between the bodybuilding food and the weight management food is managing the BMR. Correct. Now, if we have time, I'll probably explain it little bit technical in 5 minutes. Is okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm going for a bodybuilding, I need three things. First of all, A, there has to be enough mass in my body which can be converted into the muscles. So that is the most important thing. So when bodybuilders start their bodybuilding things, they eat lots and lots of carbohydrates. Literally, people can eat sugars also, because that is where the whatever you are eating, the glycogens, body store the things into the glycogen form. Those glycogens, instead, those will be stored as the IMTG, intermuscular triglycerides, or those will be stored as your components, basically the building blocks, I will say in a very simple layman term. So whatever you eat, those goes as the building blocks, and over the period when they do the exercise, their exercise, the training schedule has been made in such a fashion that those building blocks then convert into the muscle building blocks. The protein synthesis happens, the tendons form, the muscles form. That is where they get their cutting and shaping of the things. So they have the periods. For certain period, they eat lots and lots of carbohydrate, just go on increasing their weight, and that weight converted into the muscle. Why? In case of the people who wanted to do a weight management, they already have the building blocks. Okay, they don't now need to build a building blocks. What
It's
they have to do is yes. So that storing building blocks has to now utilize. In both the cases, now if we see here, the second process is common. Correct.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Got it. In first case, you build the building block and then convert it. In second case, you already have the building blocks and then have to convert it. So what we work it for building bodybuilders, we work for both the cases. for weight management, we work on the second part.
Oh, wow. This is very nice.
It's very simple. Actually, people get confused with that. It is, and another thing, what happens is they start doing all kind of funny things which they should not be doing it.
First have to know like what is it that you want for your body, and then
Right.
take the right kind of food for that body, for that
Absolutely.
particular need of yours. So you have to know
Absolutely.
yourself well. This is amazing. I think you are the right person to connect.
Thank you. Thank you.
When it comes to food, definitely you have explored and innovated a lot of things, which is really amazing. I think in a short span of 3 years, whatever you have rolled out, it is something very, very mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, we also feel sometimes amazed that we could able to do this, all those things. Thanks to everyone who supported me in this whole journey, because it was not an easy thing. Specifically, I mean, leaving the corporate world at that height, at that position where I was, and coming over here in India, the still things are like that. I mean, he left the job. Now what he's doing? He's doing some funny things. Okay. Okay. So in 2015, still the concept of startups or doing the things was not that common. It was just coming up, except the major metros. Like I'm in Baroda, which is tier B cities. We still there are the misconceptions. A lot of things are happening. So apart from the challenges at work front, the major challenge we faced was actually the social pressure. And I personally believe that a lot of entrepreneurs who wanted to actually start anything, they actually face the social pressure first. My request is if they get the family support, the friend support, probably that will be helpful them to come out with their vision. I mean, initially when I myself was confused for 2 to 3 years whether I should jump or not, it's my family who supported me. Yes, do it. क्या होगा ज़्यादा failure होगा वापस जाएगा oil and gas में.
Awesome. I'm sure that support would have given you that extra boost of energy to
Absolutely.
go ahead in whatever you are doing. That is a very, very strong point which you have put forth.
Yes, it has to be. I mean, that is the helpful thing.
We will have to educate more of parents and spouses to support each other.
Correct. Do it. At the most, I mean, the person won't be having the regret in mind that I haven't tried the thing.
Yes.
Failure should not be seen as the bad light. That is where we see. I mean, initially, when we were getting those critical remarks for our colors and all, at one point in time, I was just feeling like, I mean, this doesn't go well. I have to quit now. That comes in your mind because you have invested so much of time, you have invested things, and you know that the market is not receptive to your products. Then better quit and start back. But that's where this critical support helps. They said, no, you're going right. The only thing is that people have never seen this product.
Yeah.
You just have to educate them.
Yeah, like as Steve Jobs said, the customer does not know what he wants.
Yes.
Until and unless you make it available to them, they don't even have an idea. Like I'm sure most of the people don't even know that natural foods can be had like this, real foods without preservatives, all this, whatever points that you have mentioned, you have evolved a process.
Yes.
So until and unless people are aware of the fact that something like this exists, it is very easy to say no.
No, exactly. It's always easy to say no, and it's always easy to give up. The moment, I mean, you are ready to accept that I was failure. I failed on that part and I have to restart the things and understand the needs. You won't be able to succeed. So you have to go those ups and downs, and then, okay, come out.
I'm glad you did it.
It has to. Otherwise, it's impossible. I mean, the moment you say that I'm going to do everything which is right, it's not happening.
Apart from Banamin food, do you love any other food now?
Yes, I love everything actually. Still, Banamin is not having everything in his kitty.
Okay.
So I'll go and try multiple things and try to see whether I can convert it into the Banamin. That is always there. I mean, right now we are having probably another 20 foods which are going on R&D cycle, which
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we will be launching it later on, not now, but at least, I mean, I've tried, I tested, I thought, yes, I can make it. No, it is.
It's very evident that you love what you're doing, you love your food, and you're happy. Not only you, you're making the whole world happy, the whole world of vegetarians and vegans happy.
Correct. That's true. We have to make them.
Awesome. So it was a very beautiful conversation and a very enlightening conversation. Of course, I learned a lot in this process. I would thank you for taking out your valuable time and giving us your insights.
Thank you so much, Savita. In fact, I loved conversation too because many times, I mean, when someone who understands what the food is, I mean, it is always a good conversation.
I thank Nikhil Gandhi from the bottom of my heart for his valuable insights. I would also take this opportunity to thank him specially for shipping those awesome food samples. Here are my few takeaways from this free flowing conversation. Do not compromise on your food and health at any cost. Secondly, learn to deal with social pressure when you're doing something novel. Thirdly, be aware of the fact that it is not possible to please everyone with everything. Fourthly, treat failure as an area of improvement. Fifth, have the grit to go down the path of trial and error. Never lose out on an opportunity to learn from the life lessons of real time business owners on Dream 100 Show. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show, and now make a smart decision of taking the next step towards your dreams. We strongly believe that life is just a play. We win some, we lose some, we miss some, and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play to the fullest. Don't forget to subscribe to Dream 100 Show and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Savita signing off, and catch you soon in our next episode.